Yo, it's all going down. The Afrobeat Weekender. Friday the 9th of June to Sunday the 11th of June at Great Yarmouth at Park Resorts. It's going to be crazy. Your boy Westwood's on the set with Malik Berry, Eddie Caddy, A. Comedian, Nep Tizzle, Big Tipper.
Getting paid to escort is common today. Is this an acceptable hustle?
No, it's not acceptable. The reason I feel like it's not acceptable is because it's not a great message to send to young women growing up. If I'm raising my child to be independent, to work for her own, and to eventually, you know, have a husband, get married. Now, if you start escorting yourself, you're like, naturally people are going to look upon you and think, rah, it's almost like prostituting. Let's be fair, because you're getting paid to escort. Now, the only thing you possibly might say you're not doing is not sleeping with a guy. But I find that difficult to believe, because no man's going to pay you to just escort him around.
Some men actually pay to be in the company of women. So it doesn't necessarily mean I want to sleep with you. Some men are not confident enough to go out there and start, or they're too busy, for example.
Either way, for me personally, I think it's unacceptable. It doesn't send a great message to young women growing up. And for me, I just see it as that's an easier way for you. It gives out a bad reputation to the other women who, you know what my mum says? Birds of the same feathers flock together. Now, if I've got friends who are doing that, I don't find it to be acceptable. And I've always made it very clear.
Fam, do you know I have friends that are hoes? Do you know I have friends that are hoes? Allow it, fam. Do you know I have friends that are bushes, fam?
Friends that are hoes, they do that on a D-low. There's not a lot of people, like you said, people are not, you know, flamboyant about it. They don't show off about it. They like to discreetly do that. That's their own business. Now, if you're escorting, people are now being proud about it. They're walking around. Not necessarily. Yes, they are. They're snapping it. Let me finish. They're snapping it. They're putting it on social media. They're doing all of those things. You're basically being an open book about it. It's not acceptable.
Before we even get into that, can we just wait? Before we get into that, can we just define the actual term escort?
There are professional escorts who actually professionally say that they are professionally escorts, where, for example, they might sign up to agencies or whatever, and they're escorts and they go out. Don't sleep with the guy they're going out with. They're just there for the purpose of being there. And then there are hoes. In my own eyes, I call them hoes, because they are the ones who say they are escorts or deny that they are escorts, but really they have sugar daddies. They're sleeping with even my people that are my father's age. You understand? They're going to Dubai, Maldives, and they're just doing anyhow. So for me, professional escorts, sugar daddy escort, you are all hoes.
I went to uni with 2 male escorts here. So escorting, in its technical term, is what you said, is a man or woman paying for the company of another individual, maybe like to take you and show you off at a dinner or something else. I don't know what the proposal is. Whether or not you choose to do whatever after is up to you, but it's not contractual. It's not prostitution. It may be from what you know about escorting, like people out there snapping, but people I know who did escorting, you didn't know they were escorts. They were at school studying, and that's how they were paying for their life. Exactly. That's how they were paying for their lifestyle. So I mean, I was on the same wavelength as you before I went to university. I used to think, no, why would you do that? That's a funny way to live. But meeting someone who does that and then seeing how they're just normal. Not that anybody's not normal, but they just live a normal lifestyle, and that's just what they do for work in their spare time. I don't know if I can't judge it as acceptable, because one, they were more well off than people I knew who were doing decent jobs, and from a moralistic perspective, my mom was like, this is what I'm comfortable doing. I'm making good money doing it. Like who's anybody to tell me that I can't make a living this way?
When you put sugar daddies into perspective, yeah, for me, what comes to my mind is now you're getting paid because you're gonna sleep with him. That's the way I look at it. If we talk about, hold on, there are sugar daddies that will, in the beginning, because I know quite a few girls that do that, and they've all said the same thing to me. It starts off as in it starts off as they want your company. They've got a family on the side and everything. They're calm, and they'll pay you for your presence, attention in pictures, different parties, events and stuff. Then it escalates because now they want your body. Because remember, they're paying for your time. Now he's gonna escalate to, I'm gonna pay for your body. And I think with women, they live off for us guys, the way we look at them, it's about perception. If a woman seems as if she's everywhere at the same time with different guys, we're not even interested. So you've tarnished your image generally. That's why I agree with Esther. There's a negative stigma attached to being an escort. And that negative stigma spoils everything. personally, for me as an African man, yeah, once you even begin talking about, I would even think about going into being an escort, me and the conversation is already done. Like, we can't go into that direction. Do you know what I mean? So for me personally, I know that women hide it, even though a lot of girls have done it. Like, you think this girl is a church girl, she's proper everything, and then realistically she's gone and done that job. She may not have slept with the guy, but the fact that she knows that if she brought it into conversation, the conversation for an African man, the conversation is done.
Escorting in itself here is not the same as prostitution. Like we said at the beginning, escorting is paying for your company, your time. Now, what happens behind those doors after is what this generation is kind of prone to, which is, you know, the Malaysia trips, the Dubai trips. Like, we've now got this perception that whoever ends up going to Dubai, like, you're going to go and get fucked.
That's my problem. That's my problem.
Actual professional escorts that are actually being paid for their company, and they use that as a skill. It's a skill to be able to interact with many different people, with many different backgrounds. Do you understand? And that is something that if you're getting paid for it, fine. Do you understand? They don't necessarily need to get paid to have sex with these people. And and this is the thing, the people that, like I said, the people that are actually professional escorts, I don't think you would even know. Do you understand? It's that good. Do you understand? I don't think you'd even know. The people that show that they're in the Palms, in Saint-Tropez, and
Maldives,
you get what I'm saying?
Maldives.
Whoever is, like, you're from the council block in the East End, but yet you're on a yacht in Dubai, like, but you've not put no one in the background and you went there by yourself.
You don't snap who you're with.
What's going on here? Do you understand? Questions start getting thrown out, and then all of a sudden stories come back to the ends, and it's like, yo, but you was with some guy that's 85 and you was getting fucked out, and there's stuff coming out of you on the plane, or you're just feeling a bit booky when you get home. Like, you hear these stupid stories that, yo, girls go places, they come back and nothing was the same. Like, you let one old man's come all up inside you, and it's the next thing. Yeah. He's got bodies.
Hear about all these girls, innit? You go in Malaysia, you go in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, you get me? Then you sleep with these old men for these riches. Get on a plane. We've heard about these stories, innit? Come home, and nothing was the same. Stuff is leaking out your fanny. Like, there's supernatural forces that are working against you now. You're not quite the same anymore. Nothing was the same. Life ain't a joke, you know? This life actually ain't a joke.
But my question is, yeah, we have this perception that, oh yeah, like you said, these girls have tarnished the image. But who told you they care about the image? Like, who told you? The question is, who told you that they're not comfortable going to do what they? It might be wrong for you.
About the image.
I'm not. But hear what I'm saying. It might be wrong for you. You might look at it and think, that's ratchet. I don't think you should be doing that. I wouldn't let my daughter do that, which is acceptable. But there's a lot of girls, I'm not gonna say I know a lot of girls, so I don't, but there are a lot of girls who have a perception in the public eye and don't give two shits about what you think. They'll still go to, you can tell them today, that's hoish. They'll still go to Dubai next week. They'll still do it again.
Can I say something as well, yeah? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really feeling the way you lot are bare harsh on the fact that, if she's doing escorting, she's a hoe. Listen, yeah, there's some people that literally don't have nothing, and that's all they can literally
You always
do.
have something, bro.
No, like some people, that's all that can do. Just sell this.
That's lack of education then. Lack of education. Somebody
your upbringing is not the same as every other woman, so you can't say that.
Somebody wasn't there to tell you that you can do better. That's my point. Do you understand? Yes. You can do better. Nobody was there to tell you that. You see, when we talk about professional escorts, yeah, for me, the way I look at it is, if you're getting someone to pay you just for your time, you're a businesswoman. So I commend you, because I'm a businessman. So that's the way I look at it. But once you open your legs, you've gone into a different dimension.
Everyone's talking about, you know, if someone's paying for your time, eventually he's going to end up sleeping with someone. But at the end of the day, like, if he's paying for your time, if that's the agreement you guys have made, I'm not saying I condone it, but I'm just less on the judgmental side of the situation. Like, there are other ways to make money, yes, but if you've decided to go down that route, you want it to be an escort, it's not prostitution. Do you know what I mean? If you want to go, it's not prostitution. Why? Because he's not sucking breasts. He's not fucking
he will suck your breasts later. Breasts will be sucked.
The reason I'm quite passionate about me not liking it, full stop, think it's lazy, think you're just taking the chicken way out, is because I get paid from inland revenue. I have to pay tax. Them people don't need to pay tax. They're taking the easier way out.
That sounds like you're being salty. That sounds like you're being salty. There's a lot of salt on that sentence.
Let me fucking sound salty. The reason I feel a certain way is because they're the same people that are on benefits, that are fucking up this whole system, like, and then they're getting paid by uncles to live a certain luxurious lifestyle. It's taking the piss. The reason I'm mad, because about £400 comes out of my flipping paycheck for tax. Do you understand? No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to fucking do it. We're not talking about food boys. We're talking about prostitution, escorting. Let me finish. Oh, everyone has a definition. Listen, everyone can define what escorting is. For me, I look at it, it's escorting, prostitution, same thing. That is my definition.
Ignorance, baby.
Don't take that away from me. That
baby.
is my own definition. I don't care. That's so you can't stop me from thinking that eventually a man is going to make demands of, once he's taking you out, it's going to come to a stage where he's going to want more. I find it very, very difficult to believe that these women that say that they are just escorting for the sake of being there and because the man wants company are not sleeping with him. Like, deep it, honestly. You're going out with this geezer, he's paying for your time, you're telling me eventually he's not going to want something more. Come on, like, this is not La La Land. Let's be realistic. I personally know people that are doing that rubbish.
I feel like there's a lot of energy coming from you, yeah? Like, the question is about the hustle. Your perception of what an escort is what makes it disgusting to you. Shawty, you sound kind of mad. You sound hellish. Like, the salt is there. Like, maybe somebody been, kind of down that path and it's affected you daily or something. But this is the rule. Don't be mad. A shawty just trying to make a living, She's just trying to make ends meet, And not everybody has the means to make a living through a 9 to 5. Not everybody has the means to make a living through the norms that we know. You would still get with a guy that does fraud, but he looks like he's going places. Why is that not disgusting? To somebody else that is, you are wrong. You ain't paying no taxes. Do you understand? No matter what your hustle is, yeah, like, if you have the ethos of what you represent, do you understand? And there's means to an end of what you're doing, yeah, like, even if it's wrong, like, someone can sort of understand where it's coming from. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what I use when we're talking about this escort thing. I'm not straight away assuming she's a prostitute. Older women have actually approached me like, yo, you know what? Like, you're actually a very, very dominant man. Like, the way you speak, your demeanor, I like it. I want to be around you. And they've here's an amount. Do you want to come spend time with me? Just vibes. Now, because of my moral values, it's not something I'll do, and it's just a bit weird. Do you get what I'm saying? But there's some people that don't think like that, and they genuinely listen. That's my part-time work. I go out with people, I interact, and in today's society, people are willing to pay for you in terms of what your gift is. Your gift might be being able to speak to people, being able to interact with people from many different backgrounds. Do you understand? And it is a form of escorting. Don't automatically assume because somebody's an escort. Now, if you look at it in the sense of the way you're saying it, opening your legs and shagging a man, then yeah, it's dead. Do you understand? Morally and ethically, it's just wrong. Do you understand? But in terms of like a woman that knows where she's going, and you know these by people's demeanors and what they stand for, like, she can be classy with the man, interact. No, it's a form of socializing, really.
Escort, yeah? When I'm first presented with that, I would say that's an acceptable hustle. Fine, cool. I'm not seeing it Esther's way though when I say it's acceptable. I'm seeing it like, cool, we've got together. But when you're answering a question and you really want the true answer, you have to personalize it for yourself. I'm saying it's acceptable hustle. But if my daughter came to me and said, Mum, this is what I want to do, would I tell her yes or no? Let me finish, hold on. My answer is what I truly think. Now, what I will do myself is different from what I truly believe. A lot of us have crossed lines and done things we thought we would never do, yeah? But the advice we will give to people that we love is what we truly think. Now ask yourself, if my child came to me, would I say yes or no? Even if she's not sleeping with them, hold on. Even if she's not sleeping with them, your mind will think she's still exposed to a level of, because she's meeting different people and it could escalate, but she's making money.
Reva, if she dropped 20 stacks on your head, yeah, you would tell her go again.
I said escorting, I didn't say I disagree with it. Yeah, I didn't say, like, because you made a point about people who can talk, who can be around people, make them happy. If you've got that skill and you can go for a make dough, fine. But the reason why I personalize it is so that I can look at big and deeper picture, because sometimes we focus on what is right in front of us. You're struggling with rent and many other things, but she's come to you and she's giving you a wallop of cash. You take it or you don't take it. You don't take it, you got red letters coming in and you're facing eviction. What does escorting look like to you at that point? Before it was bad, now it's okay. Do you see what I mean? So put yourself in those shoes, then you would really get an understanding of what you truly believe about a situation.
Your picture is what you see. Deep, because I like the analogy you used. Your picture is what you see. Now, all of us in this room are black. Yeah. Our upbringings, our culture, our ethnicities, morally doesn't permit that. Do you understand? So we're prone to seeing it like that. I see exactly the same way you've just said it. But the reason why I said it the way I said it is because I've grown up with many people that are not like myself. They have not grown up like myself with that moral compass. Their moral compass is very different. Now, who am I to say that you are wrong for that moral compass? At the end of the day, escorting doesn't mean you're sleeping and shagging everybody that you are going out with.
Two things, yeah? First thing I want to say is just kind of touching off what Reva said and sort of what Gogo was saying about if as a parent, like what would you say to your child? We have to understand that there's perspectives, yeah? There's some mothers that their child may come to them and they may think, you know what, you're grinding, you're making money, any means necessary, you're doing what you have to do. There's some parents that will think that. They will apply that. If your child is coming, I want you to apply the same moral notion that we're going with to drug dealers that come home with money. Their parents know that they're going out and they're selling drugs in an illegal way that could send them, probably ruin their life, but they are going through poverty, they need the money. So they allow their child to go and put their life on the line. So hold on, let me finish. So I think when we're talking about escorting, we need to apply the same moral notion to people that do ACs, to people that drug deal. It's the same, because we're talking about hustles, yeah? So they're all hustles. I think when we're talking about, especially when we talk about, even when I think in my mind about male escorts and female escorts, automatically my perspectives are different. And this is how society is, because we perceive women differently. In this, they could be doing the exact same job, but society will perceive the woman as, oh, but she might open her legs. No one said that. When we mentioned male escorts, nobody said that. In this room, nobody said, oh, but what if the man's having sex with the woman? Because automatically, exactly, if he did, there wouldn't be a problem. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're going to apply this moral notion of, it's quick money or instant gratification, then you need to apply it across the board. And then you can say, okay, this is all not acceptable. Rather than saying, oh, this is acceptable. Oh, but if you do fraud, I'm going to endorse you, even though you're doing the exact same hustle.
Well, you know what we're not taking in consideration as well, yeah? The word hustle. Like, some people hustle with no means, and some people hustle with a long aim. You never know. This escort could just be escorting for her child. You get what I'm saying? So it depends where you're going with your hustle.
We're saying acceptable hustle, yeah? You've now defined hustle, yeah? Let's go into acceptable, yeah? Acceptable to who? Who's accepting it? Because, wait, hold on one second. Wait, hold on, let me finish.
First, I said hustle.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying you've defined hustle. Now we have to look at acceptable, yeah? People are saying, is it an acceptable hustle, yeah? For it to be acceptable, yeah, you have to assume that the person is subservient to society's views of
Oh my God, Biscuit is so ridiculous. I can't.
You have to assume that they're subservient to society's views of what's acceptable or not. Yeah. The person has to accept it within themselves before anybody else can pass judgment upon it. What's the difference between them and a stripper? Because some strippers go far and beyond what they're meant to do. What the agreement is, go to the strip club and strip and start fucking man. So, I mean, then are we going to start looking down a long line of things that are unacceptable, but a lot of people do? Like, I talk to strippers who make I'm going to talk about Americans because that's people I know. American strippers who make $500 a night. And they pay for everything in their livelihood that they could ever have wanted in life. Are you going to now turn around and say, no, you can't make 500 like that because it's wrong? Like they're doing what they know and they're good at and they enjoy it.
How you can tell someone that their line of work is uncomfortable for you, I don't understand. If someone's making a living doing something and they aren't harming somebody else and it's legal, I'm so sorry, you can't tell them how to or how not to make their own money. Like, there are strippers who make 5 times what people make working 60-hour weeks and they're happy doing what they're doing. If they're comfortable with it, who are you to go and tell them that they can't make money the way that they want to make money? That's their business. Leave them to do what they're doing.
Let's look at it from this perspective, yeah? When I used to do certain things before, and I'll bring money home directly, like what Sia said, I'll bring money home to my mum and I'll tell her, Mum, here's the money for the gas, the electricity, for the month, you don't even need to complain anymore. What she'll say to me, and we're all Africans, so we can all relate, she'll say to me, thank you for bringing the money, but the way you got the money, do you understand? There's karma behind that. it will. Wait, hold on. So I don't want to use that money because her morals are telling her that something will happen because I'm feeding her from other people's addictions. Do you understand? Wait.
directly rebut.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish first.
when you're finished.
I'm feeding her from other people's addictions.
Yes.
Do you understand? So there's some kind of spiritual repercussions there. Do you understand? The question I wanted to pose to everyone is anyone being harmed, right, from the money that's being made? Is anyone being harmed in the process? Because it's a hustle.
Yes.
Yeah, the question I'm posing now, because obviously Esther's saying that it's disgusting.
Let me
Yeah,
jump
so
in.
is anybody being harmed in that process?
what I'm trying to
Am
say
I
to you.
being harmed as a male escort, or is the person that I'm
This is what I'm trying
escorting-
to say to you. It might be the morality of the situation, it might be the legality of the situation, but she's unsure about something. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if something is 100% legal, which like it's not illegal to be an escort, then all you've got left is morality. So in that sense, nobody can be harmed in that sense because like you're allowed to do it. No one said don't do it. It's just whether you're comfortable accepting whether someone does it or not.
There's a difference, like doing something out of choice, by choice, and doing something because you have to do it. Like, obviously, let's forget how she got herself in this predicament, but she's in this predicament. No qualifications, no experience doing anything, nobody to help her, and she's been presented with this, you know, with this opportunity to escort. For example, you have responsibilities, Esther, yeah? Say, God, you have education, you have all of that, but you say you had none of that, right? You have a daughter to look after. You have no other way of making money than to escort. What would you do? Let your child starve? That's my point. That's why we can't condemn it just like that. I am not as judgmental as I may come across. I feel like people end up in professions that they haven't necessarily planned to be in, so we can't really condemn it. Like, as long as you're doing something and your end goal is to get out, like drug dealing, stripping or whatever, you have to do it because you have to make ends meet, you have bills to pay, you have mouths to feed or whatever. But as long as you're not necessarily doing it for the sake of doing it and doing it for the fun of it, we can't really condemn it. Everybody's got to eat. You have to like respect everybody's hustle as long as they see a way out.
And you're talking almost as if like to be an escort, you have to open your legs and shag someone.
No, nobody's saying that, Lucas.
So then, what are we talking about then? An escort is, there's nothing wrong with being an escort then.
I do not condemn it, but I will not do it. That's not the path I want to go down. But
If your girl told you she was an escort before, would she be your girl?
Okay, I like that question you asked me. I'm going to ask it perfectly. Me personally, because of my perception of how I view girls, how I view women, I wouldn't accept it. Do you know why? Because of how I've grown up. I'm more cultured than most. And you people always talk about, you know, change and this and that. The way the world has changed today, yeah? People get paid to talk on TV. People get paid for many different things that our parents would be like, how can you go and do that? What I'm saying is, there's a difference between being an escort, getting paid for talking to people, and being paid to prostitute yourself. Open your legs and shag.
Talk to people.
So what do they do?
They do more than that. I can pose as your partner as well. What's wrong with you?
That's the same.
Don't you know?
I'm paid to come out and talk
Wait,
to
hold
you.
what
on.
is your point, Max? Nobody's sleeping with anybody. Yeah,
If I'm posing as your partner, it may need for me to do certain things that partners do in the midst of people. It's not only about sex. If my girl has told me that she was posing as the next man's girl and she had to lip sync and all these things, already I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to hear it. Do you know what I've realized, yeah? Lucas is like a watered down version of an alpha male. And the reason I say that is because a man said escorting is okay to do, not remembering that a man has sisters, not remembering that he's gonna have a girl or he has a girl. And the question now is, are you gonna let your girl do that job, knowing that there's a possibility she's gonna off the pant? That's what he needs to begin to think about.
We understand that people hide under the title escort and are being a prostitute. They're sleeping with people. That's the difference. But if you're an escort, you're going to give your time to somebody. You're just appearing in places. You're not sleeping with the person. Otherwise, if the person is sleeping with you is rape. If you haven't consented to it, then they're raping you. You should go and report to the police.
Lucas, say me and you make an agreement. I meet you and you say I want to pay you for sex and I say, sure, cool. That's illegal. I can do that. You can do that. You can pay me for sex.
Soliciting means you have to put it out there, right?
No, if you come up to me and you say, I will give you £100 to have sex with me tonight, and I say, cool, that's not illegal.
How am I going to do that if I don't know you're a prostitute?
Men do it all the time.
Why I'm very passionate that escorting is the same as prostitution, because for me, I know of people who they sleep with that person. Today's the first time I'm hearing, well, maybe not the first time, but I'm hearing you can actually just sit down and chill and talk. for me, I'm still struggling to believe that, because from what I know of, and the people that I know of that do it, mate, they are beaten, they're chopped. So that's why I'm very passionate. So that's why when you're coming at it with a different perspective, like, well, there's people that sit there and they just talk. I'm baffled, because from what I know, bruv, you're sitting down, you're talking, you're beating, you're getting goods, you're going to buy Maldives, all of this shit. This is what I said from people that I know. Basically, what I'm saying is that's why I put them in the same bracket. Because escorts. Thank you.
Think about it. See how a lot of people, sleeping with each other anyhow, with people that are not even paying them, guys that are cheating on them, girls that are just crazy. This generation, banging is nothing. So imagine someone's giving you cash, and then they give you a little, okay, let's do something in the corner. I'm not saying it's 100%, but let's be real with ourselves, yeah? Real life, real people, real talk. The likelihood of them opening their legs is very high. And that's why when you start escorting, it's more likely that you can end up there. So sometimes life, it's not just about how you start, it's about how you end. That's where it's important. So if you want to start doing escort 1, 2, 1, 2, be careful where you're going to end. That's what I'm saying the dodginess is. Not that it's wrong, but it can lead you somewhere. A lot of girls have slept with a number of guys, haven't had no significant gain from it, have their heart broken, the guy doesn't give them no money, doesn't even pay for cab for them to go home, don't buy them food, if most, maybe £2.50 chicken and chips. By the end of the day, it ain't really nothing. Then you have someone coming to you where they're asking you for the same thing that guy asked you for, but they're willing to give more. Girls will jump at the opportunity because they're in a position where they were doing more for less, and now they're doing less for more. That's why the escorting thing is booming. Girls are going into it.
We've understood what escorting is. We understand what prostitution is. We've also understood that people go under escorting to prostitute as well, yeah? So these are all here. Cool. So let's keep that to one side. Let's just bring it right back down to London, yeah? Finesse chicks. Just putting it out there, innit? Girls that will go out with certain guys, go and live the lavish lifestyle, and are not opening legs, they're twanging every man they come across. Is a finesse chick an escort? No. So, again, when we're talking about the escorting thing and saying eventually they'll open leg, let's say that this girl is a finesse chick. And let's say that she has gone and done contracted hours to say, do you know what? You want me to make you look good and feel good, we go out, we do this and do that, that's fine. But if you think you're sleeping with me, you played yourself. And the men understand that. So let's say that that is the contract that they've set in place, regardless of whether she has a child or she doesn't. Let's say she's trying to pay bills, let's say she's not trying to pay bills. Let's say she's tried to look for a job, can't find nothing, don't want to go job centre, she's saying, fuck it, this is what I'm on. And she makes that contract that, look, I'd speak to you, I go out, I rub your earlobe and shit like that, but that's it. We're not fucking. Is she then a prostitute or is she a professional escort? What is she? Because we've come to this borderline thing where it's like, if you're doing this, eventually it's this. All right, cool, that's a very big extreme though. When we're talking about is it acceptable for our children to do it, you're looking at a different thing. You're saying it's acceptable, but for my children to do it, it's not acceptable. Let's say, for example, someone's paying for your time, yeah? You've got people that are on the phone that do that whole sex talk thing, and they get paid for that. Is that an acceptable hustle? So let's say you go and pick up the phone. Oh, babe, you're doing this, you're rubbing yourself. Yeah, it feels good, you're doing it.
You like that? All of that.
I'm saying... We're not saying that the conversation's about sex. Let's say that the person's like some old dude and he just wants company. He's got some wifey issues or some shit. He just wants affection. And he's sitting there, you just talk to the nigga. You just sit there, oh, hi, you all right, whatever. You don't have no sexual conversation whatsoever. But I'm saying, let's say that you're saying that is wrong. So what if you're on the phone and you actually are having a sexual conversation and you're paying for that and that's your hustle? What about that then?
I think it all boils down to morals. Like what you will find morally acceptable and what I may find morally acceptable will be two different things. For me, morally, it's not acceptable. All rounder.
Let's say that you've got a woman there, you've got two women, you've got two guys there, yeah, and they're speed dating. I don't know. And one person's there telling you, you can pay for me, you'll pay for my time, but we're not having sex. And you've got another girl that comes in when the bell dings and she's like, psh, listen, what you pay for is what you get. So if you want this, pay for the box. Do you get me? We're at it. And you do it. I'm saying, so what is wrong? Is it the act of you doing it regardless of whether you're having sex or not and you put yourself in that position? Or is it the long-term mentality of what you've got ahead of you?
It's not acceptable to do such things. Obviously, now, today, people are doing it regardless. But the reality is, people are doing it on a D-low. No one's coming out and saying, yo, I'm an escort. Yo, I do this. Yo, I do that. Before, it was a secret. Now, because people are now coming out with it and are willing to do it, now people are feeling more comfortable. So if escorting is supposed to be a positive thing, a good thing, a part of your lifestyle, then why won't you come out with your chest and say, listen, I'm an escort? Because you know you're being a hoe. It is nasty. You are all hoes. Because you know why? The reality, all jokes aside, it's not a positive thing. You can't go to your mum and say, listen, mum, yeah, what job do you have, darling? Mum, I'm an escort. Like, really? Like, you know it's not right.
Sometimes it's not even about what you find acceptable. It's about what you feel is comfortable. Because certain things can be totally acceptable and still make you feel very uncomfortable. The idea of escorting, whether we're talking to a stranger, the idea of it for me as a person makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like interacting intimately with people I don't genuinely get along with, who I don't really hit off with. So for me, the whole idea of it is very uncomfortable. The thought of my daughter doing it or my sister doing it makes me very uncomfortable. Now, if I met a woman my age, perfectly sane, seems like a lovely woman, goes about her business, don't bother no one, she's living a good life, all of them things there, and she comes to me and she says, yo, I'm an escort, I'm gonna be curious, I'm gonna be interested. I might even be taken aback like, wow, you do that, because I don't meet a lot of people that do that, so it's a bit fascinating. But for me to say I would find it unacceptable, I don't really think it's got anything to do with whether or not I accept it. That's irrelevant. Like, if it's not directly affecting me, why does it matter like whether I find something like that acceptable?
I think, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I think it's a biased conversation. The reason I say that, yeah, is because all conversation long, we've been talking about if a woman goes out and does this, yeah. I can't lie to you, I don't know anyone here if they saw, even you girls are saying it's unacceptable, I don't know anyone here if they saw a male escort that's gonna feel a bit funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, if you look, that's my personal opinion, that's how I feel. If you saw an older woman take a young guy out, not like young, but like middle-aged guy out, like, I don't think you'd find it as disgusting as if you saw an old man take a younger woman out.
I feel like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's fair or right, but I feel like there's some obvious reasons why people look at women escorting differently. I feel like probably it's possible, people feel like women are more vulnerable, men are stronger, that kind of thing, they're more dominating. They also feel like when it comes to that kind of dynamic, a lot of young girls can be very naive when it comes to that as well, and how bad that can be. And when we look at so our perception, what you guys were saying, how we perceive it, I feel like when it comes to escorting, going into that line of prostitution and how much you're giving away and how much you're selling, usually there's plenty of people now, I feel like there's plenty of people who do it who aren't like desperate, but it's just kind of like, okay, you know, this is a good way, it's quick money, it's good, whatever, right? But more historically in the past, socially, it's the more marginalized and the more deprived and the more vulnerable people that end up in those kind of institutions. And so until those kind of stigmas get washed away, we're automatically going to associate certain things.
What our parents did for us, they know that they did it because they didn't have a choice, for example. So that's why they did certain things. But they try and they pave a way for us for not to do those things, if that makes sense. But if we choose to, it's a decision on us. Some people shot and they give the piece to their mum. Their mum knows where the dough is coming from, but it's helping at the time. It's not justifiable, it makes it a good thing, but every hustle is different for your reasons. If you're hustling because you want to go put a big H belt on your waist, then you are very silly. But if you're going to go and hustle and get that dough and give it to your marge or invest it even, you're doing what you have to do to get by until you have to not do that anymore.
What was the norm for our parents is different to the norm for us today. What will be the norm for us today is going to be the different norm for our children. So what our parents couldn't condone, we do. And they're like, how can you go and do that? And it's a norm for us. Do you understand? And the things that we are going to do, our children, and we're even seeing as young as we are now, the younger ones coming and we're like, fam, in my day, them things never used to run. Do you understand?
Can I say something?
I just want everyone to think of that before you say, this is wrong. This is unacceptable. Do you understand?
Okay. I personally feel like with escorting now, of course there are women who do that. It sees what you get. You tell me you want my time, I'll give you my time, you give me money. That's where it begins and ends. But I feel like now escorting is basically a way, people have clocked prostitution is lucrative. It gives them money. It's illegal to solicit. You can't do that. Prostitution back in the day was for people who were desperate, majoritively, yeah? It was for people who needed money, who needed a fix, who were living on the streets, people who were so down and out. Now, you're not getting these women that are missing teeth, that smell hair falling out. Now that the way they've repackaged it, you're getting these nice women, you're getting bad, you're getting, amen.
Can I say something?
Yeah, I'm not finished, sorry. So they're getting these lovely women, and so now they're really getting the big bucks. So for us to sit here and be like, oh no, escorting isn't that. Escorting is prostitution for me, majoritively repackaged. Now it's nice and shiny and it's new and it's fresh and it's attractive and people want to do it. And I just feel like if we're going to be honest about that aspect, then most people won't find that acceptable.
Even all this escorting is even, I'm getting irritated. Now, let's get back to basics, yeah? In 2017, let's get into 2017. Now, the reason I'm very, very passionate about this whole situation is because all of this escort and prostitution, it is all the same thing. There are girls that are in university, there's nothing wrong at home, they're living comfortably at home, but they want to live beyond their means. Part of living beyond their means, rather than getting a job, like normal people would, they would rather go to an uncle, sugar daddy, or go and live that luxurious lifestyle. Let me finish, huh?
That's a job.
Okay, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Well, whatever they call it, I don't care. But that's what they would rather do. For me, that's where my problem is, because at the end of the day, for example, I was going to book a holiday to Dubai. It comes with a stigma. I was going to book a holiday to Dubai. How can my friend say to me, "Oh, who's sponsoring your trip?" What do you mean who's sponsoring my trip? Because there's so many girls out there who it's not about because they're poor at home or they're finding it hard to make ends meet. It's because they want to live a certain lifestyle, and part of that lifestyle is to, rather than go out and get a good job, they're just lazy, and for me it pisses me off.
Let's now differentiate between the escorts. We've already spoke about, the perfect escort, the professional escort. Now let's bring it back to Black London. Let's not talk about general London. Let's talk about Black London and the stigmas that follow. Like you said, a lady booking a trip to Dubai. A lot of my babes in Niger this year in the Christmas period, and my real uncles were showering them with beauties. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's bring it back to the gospel. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about LDN. So 2016 December, it was like, no, 2016 December, Ghana, Nigeria, especially, it was epic and rife with London women who, even if you know, do you know Lekon in Nigeria? Do you know Kwame in Accra? Why are you there? Okay, cool, you've gone to experience a holiday. Now, the problem with that is the stigma that the women that go there that actually do the let me Millie rock on one uncle and back it up for OG because he's about to shower me with that paper. Because at the end of the day, it's the good life. Again, me, morally, I knock it because my wife can't end up like that. But if you want to be a bad bee and you own your shit and you want to go to Ghana, Nigeria and bust it open and crack it wide for the squad, by all means.
A lot of girls went to Ghana, Nigeria last year, 2016, innit? You went there for Christmas, innit? You went there to do New Year's, innit? Turn up, innit? Why are you turning up, though? Who do you know there, though? Your mum's here. Your dad's here. Family's here. Christmas is with family. Why are you in Niger, though? Why are you in Niger? You want to go and lose your life to the Lekki boys, yeah? The bottle boys of Lekki. VI. So they can give you nice finances to come back home and do 6 months. Then you go back again. Behave.
Question I'm going to pose to everyone is, when things happen from, like, we talk about back in the day and the future, some things happen that are taboo in a society, and then later on they become slightly more acceptable. Do you guys think that this whole process of girls going abroad, getting paid for it, do you think that it's a taboo in our generation now that's going to become a little more acceptable as time goes on?
If you look back at our grandparents or so forth, if you can even go further, it's something that's been ongoing. They take, like, if you're from a poor family, take your mum, she'll go marry some rich uncle across in the city. So that nature's always been there, a woman kind of going to a man in a time of need. But like Ezra is saying, it's been changed now, it's been polished, and yeah, it's become more acceptable.
You lot are actually being a bit too harsh. Like, because some people literally go to Africa, go Caribbean, etc., and not doing what you lot are saying. Like, what about them lot? Like, hold on. Is it fair for them lot to be getting the stigma of escorting, judging, and etc.?
Was that an example I gave? That's why I said, for example, I've been to Dubai twice. Both paid for with my money.
Why did you go to Dubai?
Wait, let me finish. I went first time with my girls, second time with my girls. I'm now going on a big family holiday. My whole mum, my mum turns 50. How dare someone say, oh, if someone sponsors your trip, what are you going to do in Dubai? How dare you even question me? Whether it's banter or not, it's because there's a stigma behind it. And that is my problem. Do you get what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's why I said it should not be acceptable, because what?
More time I blame girls because it's the girls that are actually doing that. It's not even us.
What you just said, to me, that doesn't even make sense. But they have an employer. Their employer is a man. Hold on, wait, let me finish. Your employer is the man. If the man was not showering her with that, she would have no employer. There is a two-way thing. You cannot put that whole responsibility onto a woman. My ability, it does make sense. Listen to what I'm saying. My ability to be able to do that, to be able to finesse, to be able to stunt, to be able to go somewhere and live off a man comes from his hand. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It comes from his hand. If he doesn't release his hand, then I'm not able to eat from that hand. Not to say that you should do that. Of course, it comes down to choice. What I'm saying is we also need to place some responsibility onto the men that are doing this. It's not a one-sided thing. And I think this always happens in society. Things get misconstrued and we put 100% of the responsibility onto a woman. We also need to realize, hold on, sorry, let me just finish. We also need to realize there are young women that have been abused as kids or they've been taken advantage of. They are naive. They are living in a certain way. There are men that are more mature, that know what they are doing, that intelligently are doing this to manipulate young girls.
I've just got a story I want to quickly share. I met this guy, yeah? I hadn't even hugged this guy. This guy gave me 2 bags. Hold on. He gave me 2 bags. I said, yeah. Let me get there. Now. The guy said to me after, oh, babe, you know what? If you want to get your breast done and your bum done, I'll cover it. You know, we're talking about 12 bags here. That's when I ran because I realized, hold on.
Did you run with that 2,000 though?
Did I want the 2,000?
Did you run with the 2,000?
No, yeah, I took, no, the 2,000.
Look. I would have taken the 2,000 and given him receipt.
Let me finish. The talk about surgery came after the 2 bags. Yeah, this is weak. Did I? Of course I took the 2 bags. He offered me surgery and I realized, okay, this is going to link to sex because obviously you want the body to whatever. As you lot can see, I didn't get that done. I declined and he stopped talking to me because I declined. But what I'm saying is, someone's offered 2 bags. If mine was in a certain way, where do you think I would be right now? And I'm just saying it to answer what CEO was saying about how the men do have to take some responsibility because I never asked for the 2 bags.
I fully understand that, but I also want women to understand this, yeah, generally speaking. You have so much power in your hands. Now let me put it to you guys like this, innit? From sightings to escorts to prostitution, all of this would not exist if women just said no. I understand that there are things that are happening that may make you sway into that direction. But if you stand up and say no is no, no guy will be, there will be no girls to sleep with, number one. No, there will be no sightings. In fact, you have guys doing what you want them to do. Hold on. If only you said no. So for me personally, I don't think you can even make the guy accountable because he's worked hard. He has enough peas to splash everywhere. Like Gogo was telling me a couple hours ago, there's 4 African billionaires that can just solve all our problems. The money's there, bro. But it's up to you whether you say no or you say yes. So the onus is on you. The onus is on you guys.
It all boils down to owning your own shit. Do you know what I mean? Like owning it. Like if you like throwing it back on old guys, if you like collecting money and gifts, blah, 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 that's you. Like at the end of the day, each to their own. Do your thing. I don't condone it, but don't hide under being an escort. If you're going down to the definition of an escort, that's not prostitution.
This actually gets on my nerves, like when I think about it, because we're in a world right now where women are at the top of the chain, women power, feminists everywhere, running around with their little bras, do you know what I mean? But in reality, you don't look inside of yourself, seeing the mistakes that you make. Do you understand? If women were just to say, look, I'm not opening my legs, then guys wouldn't be sleeping with anyone. It's that simple science. This I could have learned from back in my country is simple. Just don't open your legs, nothing will happen. You open your legs, more time, you become a hoe.
If I'm offering you money, you have a choice to take that money. Do you understand? Based on you. Yeah. Do you understand? Now, if I offer you a bag of crack, you have a choice whether you take that or not. You can't now say because I have an abundance of something and I want to do something, you now say, oh yeah, well this is now a two-way thing. It's not a two-way thing. I don't have a problem with paying you or servicing you or paying for your service or paying for your fanny or whatever. I don't see anything wrong with that. So it's not a two-way thing. You have a problem with it, or whoever stigmatizes it has a problem with it. So if that is the case, then say no. Do you understand? If you ain't gonna say no, then that's where I agree with Chioma. What the problem is a lot of women why am I not wifeable? But you forget that you've done stuff that morally I can't take. Yes, it might be acceptable for you and I can understand that. There's plenty of things that are understandable and we can be like, you know what, yeah, cool, that makes sense. But to me, it makes sense. Black.
Sometimes people are not living in poverty for one. They're okay in where they are, but they want more. Like, for example, I know people that are living in 1-bedroom council flats, for example. They're sharing with their brother and sister, like, but yet they're driving a 16-plate Mercedes Benz. I'm not trying to be funny. If it's to better your life, you wouldn't be trying to do lifestyle with it. They're in university, but because they just want to carry that Louis Vuitton bag, they want to drive a Mercedes plate, they want to be a part of a lifestyle. The people that I know are full-time escorters. They're traveling they're prostituting. People that hustle and they invest in it, I respect them for it.